You know, before I get into the meat of this video, there's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. Now, many of you have already sent me emails pertaining my Mother's Day trilogy. And I must apologize because I'm running behind schedule, and I have every intention on sending out that link right after I upload this masterful video. So they're coming. I'm just got tied up, and I'm a little bit behind, but I need to catch up because I want to get those videos out. Because as y'all know, we are T-minus 10 and counting. Next Monday is the premiere of our Bachelorette. And y'all already know. I mean, you got to know this. You got to know it. I have something coming down the pipe. I'm going to let y'all know that later on in the week. But I am anticipating next Monday viewing our lovely Bachelorette in all of this minstrel buck dancing that it's going to entail. But we'll deal with that later on in the week. If you want the Mother's Day trilogy, you know what it is. Send me an email, I'll send you the link. Now, this video here, and you've seen the title, and the title is actually borrowed from, and we've heard this statement, it's titled from a very popular children's story written by Hans Christian. And the storyline centers around a very vain emperor. And the emperor wanted to take part in a parade, and he wanted a new set of clothes, because actually that's the title of the book, The Emperor's New Clothes. So he got some seamstress to measure him. He wanted to create a new suit that he wanted to wear during this parade. And these seamstresses were able to trick the emperor into believing that the fabric that they use to put together their suits was it's just such quality that it's invisible. Nobody can see it. I mean, you'll see it, but nobody else can see it. And the emperor bought into this, so he goes and he's participating in the parade. We're familiar with the saying. And he's butt-ass naked. But because the people who attended the parade didn't want to upset the emperor, they didn't want to be on his bad side, they pretended like they didn't see him naked. Nobody said a word. Everybody saw it. It was axiomatic that he was naked. And it wasn't until a little boy looked at the emperor passing by during the parade, and the boy blurted out, this cat ain't wearing no clothes. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said he's naked. He don't have on any clothes. And at the time that the little boy made that proclamation, that everybody knew, everybody can see he's naked. Nobody wanted to say it. Nobody wanted to offend the emperor. Nobody wanted to be on his bad side. So they looked at him parading around butt-ass naked, and they couldn't call him out on it. Couldn't say nothing. Until that little boy looked and said, you know what, he's naked. He ain't got no clothes. And it was at that point that the people began to murmur in the crowd about how the emperor was naked. But because he was so vain and he actually believed what he was told, he continued on. Even though he was naked, everybody can see he's naked, but he believes that he has this fine garment on, and he goes on anyway. And the story centers around what the boy proclaimed: the emperor has no clothes. And we've all heard that statement pertaining to an axiomatic fact. We can look at it, we know what it is, but nobody wants to say it. Nobody has the heart to call it what it is. He's naked. So when I look at and I take the black female and I take her in all of her nakedness, and you address her nakedness, nobody else wants to call this out. And when I say nobody else, I'm saying the majority, because there are people who do. I mean, we know this. But because nobody wants to be on her bad side, just like the emperor, they can see he's naked, but I dare not say it. Now, the little boy, he don't know any better. He gonna tell the truth. That's what they say about children and drunks. They gonna speak their mind. But drunk, when he's intoxicated, he's gonna blurt out whatever comes to mind. Just like a child don't understand this. So the child looks at the emperor and he's like, God damn it, this dude ain't got no clothes on. And everybody at that parade knew that what that boy just said was true. But because they didn't want to offend the emperor, they pretended like he was fully clothed. And again, when you take this black female, and it just don't stop with her. I'm going to deal with that in a minute. But what that boy cried out, his proclamation, everybody knew was factual. But I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you the hypocrisy in this. Because if that little boy was looking at the black female's nakedness, looking at her, seeing what everybody else sees, nobody else wants to admit, it's axiomatic. It's not a hidden truth. It's not esoteric. This is not a hidden secret. This is something that everybody can look at and see for themselves. If that little boy would have called out the black female in all of her nakedness, you then would have had people who would have come to that little boy and told him, you're engaging in hate speech. You're cyberbullying her. You're stalking her. You are harassing her because you dare to call out what we all see. And because we all see it, we don't have the nerve, we don't have the nuts, because we don't want her upset with us. So we pretend like we don't see it. If that little boy would have called out this black female's nakedness, they would have gone out and found them a jackleg attorney who would have dug into the law books and found some statute that she could regurgitate as to the reason why that little boy should be brought up on charges for what he just said about this black woman, even though we all know what he said is true. The emperor is naked. He ain't got no clothes on. We all see it. We don't want to admit it. And like I told you, see, this is for the black men. Because you always have a remnant of black men who somehow in the dark corridors of their mind, they have somehow convinced themselves that if I don't see her nakedness, if I don't, unlike the little boy, blurt out she's naked, and I defend her, then when she goes on her rants and lumps all black men together, because that's what they're doing, somehow these black men think I'm excluded. And I have to come back and tell these brothers, wait a minute, guy, No, you're not excluded. They're talking about you too. I don't care if you wearing a shirt talking about you ain't down with the swirl and you know I'm for black love and I'm declaring war. It don't make no difference what you're saying. If you are a black male, you are included because they paint all of us with a broad brush. They don't make distinctions. When that crystalline cares and says, I'm going to tell black women what I want black women to know is that when they're going out trying to find a quote unquote good black man, they're literally trying to find a unicorn. And she tells them, stop running around looking for that unicorn. And when she says that, what she's basically saying, because a unicorn is a mythological creature, don't exist. So since you're chasing a unicorn, i.e. good black man, and the unicorn is a mythological creature, then the good black man likewise has to be a mythological creature. He don't exist. And when she makes that statement, she don't make distinctions. She don't make categories and catalog people. No, they make these statements and they're talking about black men as a collective, and that includes you, brother. Even though you're spending your time defending her nakedness that we all see, just like that little boy. The emperor don't have no clothes. But like I told you, it just don't stop there. Because you can take that analogy and you can also use that with black people. And this is what get these hoteps and these pro-blacks and these back to Africans, this is what get them mad when as a black man, I tell them that racism ain't your major problem. And they get offended. And what they do is they twist the words and they come back and say, well, you're denying the existence of racism. No, that's not what you heard me say. What you heard me say was that racism, and by the fact that I'm telling you that racism is not your major problem, is a confirmation that racism exists. Come on, people, this ain't rocket science, is it? But yet it's still what they will say when you tell them racism is not your major problem. Oh, you denying the existence of racism. No, not at all. You can't comprehend nothing that you hear. By me telling you in Carroll, because obviously I'm making a list. And by saying racism is not your major problem, racism is on the list, it's just not at the top of the list. So there is no denying of racism. It's just not your major problem. And the Negro don't want to hear that, even though, just like that emperor, everybody can see that the black community, the black race is naked. And I ask these Negroes, then tell me, how do you include racism into what we all seen take place on Easter Sunday with that shine killing that black man? Where was the race? Where was the white man in that? Where was the evil white man in the structure? Now, I know what they're going to say. Well, you know, he probably bought the guns because they put guns in our community. Okay. All right. So I guess that's how you're going to include the white man in this. And the Negroes don't want to accept this, just like when you call out this black female, just like that little boy calling out the emperor. He said something that was axiomatic. Everybody knows this. This emperor is naked. Because when he made the statement, people begin to murmur in the crowd, he's naked. Now we can say it. We didn't want to say it because we don't want to be on his bad side. That's the emperor. I don't want the emperor mad at me. I want to worship the emperor. I don't want this black female to stop speaking to me. I'm not calling out her nakedness. I'm going to let somebody else call it. Matter of fact, I'm going to make videos defending her nakedness. And then what they will do is, I told you, what they will do is they will go to that little boy and they'll tell him, listen, man, that's hate speech. You're not allowed to tell the truth about her. And when you call out a fact that we all can see, that's cyberbullying. That's harassment. And then here comes the jackleg attorney digging up some statue, citing some statue, thinking that's going to impress people or either scare people. I don't know which, probably a combination of both. But everybody can see the emperor is naked. It's the same with you Donald Trump supporters. And y'all know I was coming here. Y'all had to know I was going to get this. Because that is the greatest example of the emperor having no clothes. He's naked. And the thing about Donald Trump is that we tried to tell y'all this. I mean, this Hollywood screenwriters can't write this shit. He really thinks y'all are dumb. With this latest fiasco with the firing of Jim Comey, the FBI director, and one of the excuses, and we all know what that was all about. I mean, come on, we know what it's about. You know, you're under investigation. Comey told you that you weren't. You found out that you are. He's fired. We got that. But yet and still, he comes to y'all, because I was about to say American public, but he comes to y'all. And he tells y'all that one of the reasons why I fired him was because of how he treated Hillary. And y'all buy this. Y'all actually looking at this butt-naked emperor, his private parts swinging in the wind. Y'all looking at him. He's naked, but y'all pretend like y'all don't see it. I mean, he actually gonna tell y'all that one of the reasons why I fired this dude is because of how he treated Hillary. Now, this is, and I would like to ask Donald, wait a minute, Donald, is that the same Hillary that last fall lock her up? Is that the Hillary you talking about? Is that the Hillary that you talk about, who you said that if you get elected, you would get a special prosecutor to prosecute her? Is that crooked Hillary? Is that the one that you say he was too hard on? And that's the reason why you fired him, because he was hard on her? And this is what he sells y'all. And here y'all come. Watch him, set your watch to it. The emperor has no clothes, and they're going to try to convince us, yes, he does. Don't you see it? Look at that suit he got on. He ain't got on no suit. He's butt-ass naked. This is what you have with this whole analogy, is that when you have an axiomatic fact that everybody can see, we can see this. We're not blind. It is what it is. But yet and still, you will have people who will come back to you and try to argue you down. No, you don't see what you're seeing. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe it, because your eyes is playing tricks on you. They ain't naked. They got clothes on. And I already told you, and I've said this in many of my videos, the one who's going to defend that type of dysfunction the most is this white liberal. I already told y'all that. I've been documenting this in many of my videos. The white liberal stands to lose the most if this Afro-American Negro could ever clean his shit up. If he could ever get dressed, using this analogy. If he can actually put on clothes, the one who stands to lose the most is that white liberal. As a matter of fact, the white liberal was the one who convinced the emperor in the first place to wear the invisible suit. That's how slick they are. And they come and tell y'all this crap, and y'all believe it. That's the reason why when you find one who tries to dissect it, they're going to attack that one. I told y'all this. They have their buffer Negroes. Don't y'all remember those classic videos? The buffer Negroes who do the bidding of the white liberal, who protect not only the white liberal themselves, but white liberal policies and whatever agenda that they're trying to push to black people. So when you look at this black woman, as that little boy has done, and he calls out her nakedness, not only are they going to come to that little boy and tell him you're engaging in hate speech, we're going to flag your videos, you're cyberbullying, I'm going to go to the police. They're going to find some lawyer, jackleg lawyer, attorney, going to come along and dig up some archaic, dust off some law and try to use that to prosecute this little boy for telling the truth. And when all of that don't work, here come the buffer Negroes. They're right behind them. Here they come attacking that little boy. You a coon, you a black buffoon, you a sellout, you hate black women. Even though the ones who are saying this, these black men who somehow believe that I'm different, because I got on a shirt that say I'm not down with the swirl, because I'm for black love, and somehow you believe that gives you a pass? Somehow you think they're talking about every other black man except you. And that's the faulty, or that's the fallacy in your analysis. Because there are no distinctions. They don't make distinctions. They don't catalog these brothers. They put them all in the same boat. They put them all in the same lump. And they lump them all together. They talking about all of us. And you black men are so dumb, y'all don't see this. Y'all actually believe that because you're making videos downing black men, talking about black men, and you find these sisters in your comment thread giving you a high five, patting you on the back, way to go, I agree with you, I hear what you saying, and you actually believe, they ain't talking about me. Well, I have to come behind you and tell you, wait a minute, brother, yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're talking about you. Actually, if you think about it, they're talking about you more so than they're talking about me. Because if anybody knows the hypocrisy of black women, it's black women. Now, they may not like to hear it. They may get upset with the little boy for calling it out, but they know deep in themselves, when they are alone at night by themselves with their conscience, they know, goddamn, what those brothers are saying is true. But I'm not going to give them, I'm not going to agree with them because I just don't like the way they say it. So when they see you coming along defending them, and they know that what's being said is true, they're going to look down on you. And he's dumb. And you think you got a pass. You think you different. No, brother, you're not different. You in the same boat with everybody else. This is the reason why I told these black men, listen, man, if at any time y'all need to put aside y'all petty differences, it's now. Because they're attacking you based upon the fact that you're a black male and you're saying stuff that they don't like. They're not making distinctions. Everybody is included in this. And if you brothers don't think you are, I dare you to come up with a harsh analysis that they don't like and see what happened to your black ass. Say something that, and this is what I tell y'all about black women, and I say this a lot of times in my videos, and it's the truth. At any given moment, I will have 4 or 5 black women who's just not speaking to me. They're mad at me. They done heard something that I said in one of these delectable, delicious, irrefutable videos, and they cop an attitude. And the attitude that they get, I refuse to even acknowledge it because I was this way when you met me. If I showed you something different, and then after you got to know me and started dealing with me, I switched up and showed you who I really was, you could be mad. It's no different than for those of y'all who deal with married men. And I mean women and men, but subject for another video. Those of y'all who deal with married men. If that guy tells you up front, I have a wife, and you still choose to give him your number, go out with him, sleep with him, then that's on you. You can't get mad at him. He told you up front, I'm married. Now, if you want to still do this, we can, but I'm letting you know what it is. Now, if he hides that from you and denies, you ask him, are you married? No. You have kids? No. And then you find out later on down the road after sleeping with him the second night that, you know, he has a wife and kids at home, then you can actually have an attitude with him. You lied to me. But if he tells you the truth up front, you are disqualified to get mad and to cop an attitude once you find out what's going on. And this is the reason why I do not deviate. I do not backtrack. I do not flip-flop. I am cordial. I am respectful. But if you ask me what I think, I'm going to tell you, and I've been telling you this from the beginning. So therefore, if you mad now, fuck it. I don't care. The emperor is naked. Ain't got no clothes on. And at the end of the day, that's all this is announcing a proclamation that everybody can see. This is not hidden. It's not esoteric. It's factual. It's axiomatic. We all can see it. At the end of the day.